Hi, this is Joe Ebanks, and I'm just letting you all know that the Joe Ebanks Show is for paid programming. I accept all liability from the show. My guests will accept theirs and all callers, and I am not affiliated in any way with the Paramount Group of companies, its managers or employees. Welcome to the Joe Ebanks Show. It's another Joe Ebanks Show right here on Vibe 98.9. I got a lot of stuff. She's organized those, and the outstanding amount, she's paid the majority of it, and we had some technical difficulties here, folks. Sorry about that. So my producer was trying to get me on track and make sure everything was coming across nicely. So I have this lady. Her mother came to visit her, and while visiting her, her mother suddenly passed away. And she has of course, naturally with funerals and this type of thing, there's a significant cost. And she's paid quite a significant amount, but she's running short. And she needs to send her mother the body back home. So she has a small outstanding amount, really. And this is someone who's in need, that the community needs to help, or the community can help. So I'm making a plea to all of you listening that maybe you can send me an email at joe@candw.ky, or you can inbox me on Facebook if you're there, or text me at 917-9288. 917-9288, and maybe you can make a contribution to helping this lady get her mom back home, the body back home. It's one of those stories, and one of those incidences that you really want to do everything you can to help a fellow person. Certainly, she's in grief, her family's in grief, and this was sudden. So the body's here. It's with one of the local funeral homes, and the opportunity for us to assist, and we can do this anonymously. Once you send me an email, I can direct you there. Once the total amount is paid, then naturally they can stop collecting. I'm not interested in collecting any of it. I'll direct you to the funeral home, alert them, and you can make contributions. The other thing to remember, that we as poor people need not worry about being able to pay the full amount. If we can donate $1, there's an old Caymanian saying that one fill bucket. So we can help in that way. Just takes more of us to do it, and we get to spread the love, I guess, across more people. So pass the message on as well, if you would be so kind to do that. And let's see if we can assist this lady. We've been working on this for a couple of days now. Certainly, if there's anyone out there with the means to fund the entire amount, it's $1,490-something, I think it was. That would be a welcome blessing as well. So I'm starting the show with a humanitarian plea, to help someone get their mom home. The funeral home has the body prepared to go home, and asking that we all help out in some small way. Like I said, she's paid what she can. She's made a significant contribution, and there's very little left. And if we can, just make a contribution to it. So I'm asking you to pass that on, let others know, and let's see how we can assist. These things happen to all of us, and we need to be prepared to help out each other when we can. Now, there's a couple of things I want to talk about. Well, certainly one of the things that happened today was that I had to go to court. I attended court with the Dan Scott lawsuit, and I had to represent myself. As I said on the radio the day before, that I couldn't find an attorney on Ireland who was willing to take my case, not because I can't win it, but simply because there's a concern. There's a degree of fear of taking Dan Scott on. And I don't blame any of these attorneys. You all will know that I've never asked anyone to join me on this crusade and step out in front of this with me. I've been willing to go down this road by myself. I've asked you to support me, to pray for me, to be kind to me, to offer me encouragement. But I've never asked anyone to step out there and stand by me. And I'm asking you on occasions to start doing that now. But what I'm saying is this, that we have a system that is preventing justice from prevailing, at least for me. So it depends on who's suing you or who you sue. The system just may not work if there's a fear. Now, we know I can't get one. And folks, I didn't do this on my own, okay? I made sure that I had friends around me when these attempts were made, so that I have witnesses for the instances that can attest to the fact that we couldn't get one. People are concerned and fearful. And it's too political, is really the common language used. And there's a fear of that. So So I don't blame the lawyers. We need to change the system. The justice system needs to be shifted away and made independent. And you'll see that in my little manifesto that I've been handing out. But the point I want to get to is the case today. And I went to court, so I was on my own. Dan Scott's two overpriced Maples lawyers showed up in their pinstripe suits. And I don't know what happened to Maples, man. That reputation from those lions back in the day, man, that thing is paying dividends, but I don't see any lions left. You know, went into court. I was late because I couldn't find out which courtroom I was in. And finally got to the right one. Finally someone helped me, directed me to the right one. We went into the judge's chambers. Naturally, there wasn't any press around. No media for this one. It wasn't any criminal charges, I guess. So I go in, and Maples has this really big attorney's bag full of stuff. They put it up. They begin to unpack it. I get up and I address the court. So I explained to the judge, the Grand Court judge, that I have difficulty securing representation, and I point at the Maples crew, because people are afraid of Dan Scott and afraid of what he could do. Some are saying, you know, maybe I'll lose my work permit. Maybe I won't be able to secure my law firm once I've won this case for you. So this event transpired and was ongoing this morning. And, you know, folks, because of several things that occurred, and there's several things that occurred, I just want to update you on part of what occurred, because I have a group of people who are now organizing themselves, and we're inviting the media to a press conference to discuss this injunction against me and how it occurred and what's going to happen next. And there's certain things I can no longer say about Dan Scott. But you know what? There's a couple of words. I have a huge vocabulary. And, you know, Dan, I'm going to still say a lot of stuff about you. I'm going to still take you on. I'm going to still fight. I'm going to make sure that justice prevails. I'm going to make sure that at the end of this, that, you know, we are going to expose all of the corrupt elite in this country. We're going to do that. And we're going to look at how these commissions should be structured to make sure that justice prevails. And, you know, don't you worry on yourself, Taylorism. I'm not going to forget you. And I'm not going to forget you, David Beans, either. So I have lots of words left that I can use. So here's one. Here's one of the other things I want to talk about. This one is near and dear to my heart, and I want to talk about it. I read in the newspaper where His Excellency the Governor has pardoned a young man so he could go back to college. So you read the article, and he explains why the governor pardoned him, and I think that's great that he gets to go back for an education. And then you read on, and there's lots of commentary from Minister Dwayne Seymour. So what I'm saying is this. That sounds like treating to me, but maybe it's not. But what I'm saying is this. To all the young men in Cayman who have criminal charges, I want you to make your application to be pardoned, and I'm going to work to get you a scholarship. Here's the thing. We need equity in this country. So if His Excellency the Governor is willing to do this for one, I don't see why we can't help a whole bunch of young people all at once, since it's in the pardoning mode. So you get the governor to give you a pardon. I'm going to work to get you a scholarship so that you can further your education. So get your applications together and submit them to His Excellency the Governor. Let's get you pardoned. Let's turn this country around by moving the human capital to the next level with some scholarships. And let's make sure that we can straighten this up, because I think that one of the things I must say about His Excellency with this decision is that this is good. We're going to save a young man. We're going to get him on the right path. We have Minister Seymour there, who's fully supportive of not allowing young people who get in trouble once to be harmed for the rest of their life. So let's all get a whole bunch of young people, all of those with these charges, and let's get some pardons done so that we can turn this country around and we can get our young people repositioned. And I'm one of those who are willing to work very hard, spend some time, and secure some scholarships for the young people, and then we could get Governor Taylor to issue some more pardons, and Minister Seymour can also comment on those as he sees fit, and the rest of the cabinet, of course. So that's one of the things in the paper. The other thing in the newspaper is the Well, this article about the 53% profits of CUC. And last night at my public meeting, I spoke about the renewable energy, the residential solar program, and I just want to say that this program is complete. It's ready to go. The ERA is just sitting on their hands. They're not implementing it. We have CUCs on board with getting this residential solar program going. They've approved it. They've accepted it. They're behind it. The investors that I identified in Canada are behind it and ready to go. I have a trainer identified who's willing to come, get behind the training program to help develop our people, and we can pay for that. And we have CUCs agreed to 4 megawatts of solar. 3 megawatts is for residents and 1 megawatt for government. Installing the 1 megawatt on the government buildings helps to cut back on the government expenditure. And the 3 megawatts literally will cover every single house within the 3 islands. There's enough for everyone to get some degree of solar. Now, the way I structured these agreements when I was at the ERA was the person, if you have a small house or if you have an old house and your roof is not strong, but you have a yard with yard space, these solar panels can be installed there. And here's how this works. So the private investor is going to put up all the money and buy all the solar panels, including the installation. And they're going to connect those to the grid, and CUC is going to write a check for 37 cents per kilowatt for all of it that's pumped onto the grid. And they're going to write that check and pay it to the investor, who's going to split that cost, that revenue, with the homeowner and give them a percentage. The investor is responsible for the maintenance of those solar panels until he recovers his costs plus a small profit. Then those solar panels become owned by the homeowner and you have 100% of the revenue from it. So the FIT program is already in place. We were just adjusting it that allowed us to, rather than credit the customer's account, CUC would write a check. And CUC agreed to this. So that program is ready. We have we've gotten some response from the Attorney General's office, so we know that they're in approval. And there was a total of 10 submissions I made in hopes of reducing the electrical cost to the consumers in Cayman. And there was some work to do on others, but the residential solar program is done. The rest of the stuff that was to be done is really simple stuff to do. I attempted several times to get this project going, to no avail. And where it is and where it's standing is with the ERA and the ERA board, the Electrical Regulatory Authority board. And they just need to step up and offer some assistance to the poor people of this country. Now, I posted up on my Facebook page, the CUC earnings are up by 53%. And one of my Facebook friends said, "Oh, well, Joey, why is it you're complaining now? You never complained when you were an employee of CUC." No, I didn't. Back then, we had a contract that was about 15%. You guys remember the public outcry against a 15% rate of return? That was the outcry. In this new license, there is a moral clause that I have been preaching about, and no one's been listening. The moral clause says in there is that the government is guaranteeing that CUC will make a profit. That's a serious problem. The old license didn't guarantee 15%. What it was 15% return on capital deployed. So I'm not sure which contract you think is best now, but I can assure you that in today's economic climate, where CUC is saying the kilowatt hours is going down, they've cut back on operating expenses, and they're securing a 53% on earnings, this is a very, very profitable. And I have documentation that can also show that CUC is extremely profitable. That's why I propose 10 various options to help reduce the cost to the consumer. So they're profitable. Here it is, clearly they're profitable. And this contract was signed under the previous PPM administration, the PPM that I was a part of. And any one of them that is willing to tell the truth will acknowledge the fact that while I was not an elected member, I was not in the room with the negotiations were going on naturally, that I said you should not give up the 15%. What was in the old contract was good for the country and kept the prices down. It forced CUC to deploy funding, capital, to spend money in the economy in order to get that return. Now we're at 53% on earnings. And you have a new contract. Everybody was applauding. But now we see that, there's no relief in sight unless we can tackle this. And I put it back out there that if Arden McLean, who was the minister at the time, if his bills were paid in full, there was nothing delinquent, then I think the contract stays in place. But if it was, then there's a conflict. And we need to talk about that. We need to take a look at this license again, identify that contract through an independent investigation, and let's see if the conflict exists. And if the conflict exists, then let's take it to a court and let's ask if this license needs to be renegotiated and where we go from here. So that's a few things I want to talk about. I got a whole lot more. I got a huge list here to discuss. I want to talk about some of the solutions and some of the issues and some of the solutions that face the country as well. Don't forget the number is 946-9898. That's 946-9898. Give me a call. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, give me a call and let's chat. Let's talk about anything you want to talk about. Let's talk about the issues that I just brought up. And nothing's off the table. You're listening to the Joey Ebanks Radio Show right here on Vibe 98.9 FM.
Nectar Nightclub is open earlier for private functions only. Now open from 10 till 3, Monday through Thursday, and from 8 till 3 on Friday. Saturday and Sundays, 8 p.m. till 12 midnight. Wednesday is DJ Juice Miercolazo night with 3-4-5 nights. That $3 Jose Cuervo shots, $4 beers, $5 mixed well. Wednesdays from 10 to 11.
Les recuerdo, hoy miércoles soy yo, DJ Juice, en el mix. Presentando 345 Jose Cuervo shot, $3. Cervezas solo por $4 y los tragos regulares solo $5 de 10 a 11 de la noche.
There are nearly 60 people running for Cayman's Legislative Assembly. Now more than ever, your voice needs to be heard. Don't let the volume drown your message in the noise. Make sure your message is heard every day by the stations that reflect your lifestyle. Remember, as in every election, but especially in this election, every single vote counts. Contact Paramount Media at 949-8423. That's Paramount Media at 949-8423, and make sure your voice is heard.
Spring is in the air and on the water. When you're looking to get the best from your boat after waiting all winter to get back in the water, check out the experts at Tech Marine. Professionally certified and experienced in marine, engine, and boat technology with years of experience. Working with Mercury Outboards, Mercruiser, Yamaha, Suzuki, Honda, Johnson Evinrude, and Volvo Pentagas engines. Need to tune up, repair, or install anything mechanical, electrical, or hydraulic? Call Tech Marine. Utilizing state-of-the-art computer diagnostics for mechanical and electronic repair and installation. Call today at 936-5000. Tech Marine takes the guesswork out of boat repair. Dockside service available at your home.
Vibe 98.9 FM.
Hello, Cayman. This is Jonathan Piercy, and I'm running as a candidate for the District of Georgetown with the United Democratic Party. Over the last 4 years, the United Democratic Party government has worked tirelessly to improve the economy by expanding and strengthening the financial and tourism sectors, while also setting a firm platform to attract new industries to the Cayman Islands. Our efforts have not gone unnoticed by the international community, and the Cayman Islands has successfully maintained its AA3 rating by Moody's, while other G8 and G20 nations have seen their ratings downgraded. The UDP has worked for the people of the Cayman Islands and will continue to work to protect the interests of each and every one of us. We'll continue to grow the economy by introducing new industries to our shores. These efforts will further diversify our economy, create job opportunities, and promote formal educational and on-the-job training. The United Democratic Party is a party that believes that inclusion is far more productive than exclusion, and we are for all the people. That is why the United Democratic Party is still the better way forward. This is Jonathan Piercy, and I endorse this announcement.
Introducing Minute Match from Digicel. Starting now, whenever you talk for 3 minutes straight, Digicel will give you 3 free. That's right. Call any local Digi-to-Digi number, talk for 3 minutes, and get 3 free.
So, if I talk for 3 free minutes,
we match 3.
And if I talk for 12 minutes,
you get 6 minutes free. Say it with me. 1, 2, 3 more minutes. Get Minute Match with Digicel. Terms and conditions apply. Offer valid to prepaid customers only.
Let's get ready to rumble! life over there. When me say uno fi say a Gaza, me say
Gaza Wednesdays HD at Ultra Lounge. Cayman's Maddie's midweek party spot. They got 2-for-1 mixed drink, $4 shots and $2 beers from 8 to 10. And you will be entertained by 5 DJs under one roof. Music provided by DJ Bubbles, Bubble Styles, 6 Killer, Rollers International, and DJ Esteban. Mixing the best in hip-hop, reggae, soca, Latin, R&B, disco, and top 40s. So make it Gaza Wednesdays, each and every Wednesday at Ultra Lounge.
Show your mother how much you love and care for her this Mother's Day with a specialty package at Renaissance Salon and Spa. Starting May 1st, you can choose any of the following package items. Deep cleansing facial with a full body massage for only $100. Full body massage with mani and pedi for only $100. 30-minute body massage pedicure only $65. Or keratin treatment with original Capola Keratin Complex smoothing therapy for as low as $150. Located at number 461 Walkers Road, Unit 1 and 2, the plaza next to Burger King. Contact 949-4247 or email Renaissance at candw.ky. Call now to book or pre-book your appointment. Visit our website www.Renaissance Salon and Spa.
I'm not afraid.
Yeah. It's been a ride. I guess I had to go to that place to get to this one. Now some of you might still be in that place. If you're trying to get out, just follow me.
Welcome back, folks. We just took a short break. Remember that the lines are open. The number to call is 946-9898, 946-9898. So we were saying before the break, we talked about a couple of things. Oh, I wanted to talk about a little bit about how Hitler came to power as well. I promised my Facebook peeps that I would discuss that and the rise of power. And I also, one of the things that the corrupt elite in this country keeps trying to infer or trying to push me into is coming across as one angry black man, and that's not working, folks. Because, quite frankly, it's not hard to beat inbreds. And, I'm not angry anymore. I'm fighting. I'm happy to fight. I'm just getting warmed up. And we're going the distance on this. So the people of this country and the media, you too, if you, once I'm elected, I can assure you that I'm not going to back down from those independent investigations and taking as many of the corrupt elite to court as possible. We're going to see to that because we have to end the corruption in this country and the ways that they have been able to manipulate the processes and the systems within this country. The thing that they forgot is that once word got out, the laws that they helped to create to keep us in line, I'm going to use against them. They have to obey those laws too. I had a conversation today with a young Caymanian businessman who has struggled for a very long time to be able to get his little business off the ground. And I'm invited on the show. We're going to talk about, he and I are going to talk about, he needed work permits and to bring in labor for his barbershop. So I've invited him to come on the show and let's talk about training Caymanians to do the job. I've asked him if he's willing to start a training process in Northside. We can roll it out there. I'm happy to bring some of the Northside people forward to get the training and qualification, and we can start either providing him with labor or start some barbering in Northside, and we don't have to import people to do that. So he's interested in doing that, and we're going to do it. So, well past being angry. I'm not. There's just one other thing I forgot. I promised one of my constituents last night I would address this. And this is for the Honorable Kurt Tibbetts. And I'm sure there's some PPM people listening. And if you could pass this message on, because I said I would say it publicly, and I'm going to say it publicly because enough of this phone calls, and this should not have happened. And this is the fault of him and Ezra Miller. That you, Mr. Tibbetts, you have a restaurant Northside. We have lots of Northside, great cooks, great chefs. And I would appreciate if you would at least hire one Northsider to work for you. You have no Northsiders working for you, is my understanding. In fact, it's my understanding you don't have any Caymanians working for you. So, really appreciate if you're doing business and making a living in Northside, that you hire some Northsiders so that they can make a living as well. I think that's the least you could do coming into the district and starting a business. Certainly we appreciate you coming into the district and starting a business, don't get me wrong. I think you know I mean that. And I think you also know that I mean I'm being nice, and I'm asking politely if you would interview and hire a few Northsiders and help us reduce our unemployment there. Don't listen to Ezra that none of them wants a job. That's not true. They do want jobs. He just doesn't want to see them with a job. So give them a chance, give them an opportunity so that they can come and work for you. We have great cooks, as I said. You know, some of the best food is from North Side and certainly from Eastern as well. We've had this competition going on for years, and I think without a doubt that it's somewhat split, but North Side cooks and North Side chefs are great. We have a number of them who will be more than happy to, with the right pay, with the right wages, to assist you with some great cuisine. And you yourself can cook, and you yourself know that the reason why you're North Side with a restaurant is because the food is so good. So get the Northsiders involved, Mr. Tibbet. Give them a job. Don't be like that. Don't listen to Ezra. I know you guys, you and the C4C have promised him he'll be Speaker of the House, but you know what? Northside needs some representation. It doesn't need another Speaker of the House. So give the Northside people a chance to get a job at your restaurant. So back to the Hitler thing. So Adolf Hitler became Chancellor of Germany back in January 1933, and we have to understand how this guy moved through and what he did. And what did he do initially was he immediately, of course, began to take control. And back then in Germany, they were in economic recession, so people were hurting, just like we're hurting here today, hurting across the world. And this is the opportunities when most dictators take advantage of people, because people are looking for change and looking for something new so that they can latch on in hopes and they can recover. And of course this guy and his party, and of course this party in its infancy had to be a coalition to get stronger as well. So he got his party through his coalition, he strengthened it, and he created this party and got power, won 33% or so of the seats, took control. And of course he persuaded the cabinet to declare a state of emergency. And he moved quickly, turned Germany into a one-party dictatorship. He organized the police power necessary to enforce his policies. So he got the police, got him under control, got his dictatorship, got the police behind him, and then he enforced his policies. And then he went after the press, and he removed freedom of press, and freedom of speech, and freedom of assembly. All of those freedoms he immediately withdrew and got under control so he could retain power. Now, I don't know about you guys, but this sounds kind of familiar to me. And it seems to me that there's a couple of instances. I mean, you guys can judge for yourself. You can check to see if, and in a way, you have heard any stories as it relates to these kinds of actions. Do you know of anyone who has control over the police? Anyone who has control and influence over the judiciary? Anyone who's threatened to sue the media? Anyone who's threatened to reduce persons' freedom of expression and freedom of press? Do you know? You know, those are things that are very familiar with the whole Hitler era. And this is just history I'm talking about. These things occurred. Remember, the number to call is 946-9898. Nothing's off the table, folks. We can talk about CUC, talk a little bit more about Hitler. We can talk about the corrupt elite in Cape-Ann. We can talk about how people are just moving around and building coalitions now. And my producers tell me we need to take another short break, so we're going to take another short break, and when we come back, I'm looking forward to your calls and having a chat. Stay right here with us at Vibe 98.9 FM. It's the Joe Ebanks Radio Show.
Show your mother how much you love and care for her this Mother's Day with a specialty package at Renaissance Salon and Spa. Starting May 1st, you can choose any of the following package items. Deep cleansing facial with a full body massage for only $100. Full body massage with mani and pedi for only $100. 30-minute body massage pedicure only $65. Or keratin treatment with original Capola Keratin Complex smoothing therapy for as low as $150. Located at number 461 Walkers Road, Unit 1 and 2, the plaza next to Burger King. Contact 949-4247 or email Renaissance at candw.ky. Call now to book or pre-book your appointment. Visit our website www.renaissancesalonandspa.
Yeah, your boss Cinco. That right. I came into this world to speak the truth about God.
All right, welcome back to the Joe Ebanks Radio Show. I think we have a caller on the line. Do we? Hello, caller? Hello? They must have gone. So one of the other things that Hitler used was terror to achieve his goals. So he lured by wages a feeling of camaraderie and the striking uniforms. Tens of thousands of young, jobless men put on the brown shirts and high leather boots of the Nazi stormtroopers. So using cash, of course, using money during an economic crisis, being able to lure people in, put them in uniforms, continue the terror. And, you know, we know what the end of that story was. Usain Bolt is in town as well. So a big shout out to the great Jamaican sprinter. And he's in town. It's great to have him here in the Cayman Islands. I think it's great. He's a great Jamaican and great Caribbean athlete and who did extremely well during the last Olympics and continues to do very well. So big shout out to Usain Bolt and the Jamaicans within the community. There's also the case in the news with speaking of Jamaicans, with Dr. Joe Mazuka and the consulate, and Ezra saying that he's trying to pull all the Jamaicans into the UDP, and that's why he's part of the UDP. And you know, I don't think, Ezra, you need to worry about that. It's going to be really hard to get a Jamaican to vote for you. You know how you feel about him. So don't worry about Dr. Mazuka and being a part. Dr. Mazuka is a Caymanian. He has a right to vote. He has a right to be a part of politics. And you're spending things that at some point you really need to start offering some solutions to something. Anything. Just find a solution. And while you're accusing Dr. Joe Mazuka, don't forget, you still have to answer for those hundreds of work permits you tried to sell to Ritz-Carlton. So go and answer that. Go and see if you can get Commissioner Beans to figure out when you're going to be charged and deal with that, rather than run around talking about other people while you're breaking the law yourself. And we have a call online. Let's go straight to the phone lines then. Hello, caller, you're on there?
Yes, hello.
Hi, good evening. Thank you for your call.
Yes, good evening. In the subject you're speaking about, freedom of speech and democracy, and I think, as I said before one day, that educating the people about their rights to speak and for having their rights known to them, because people are not educated about what is their rights and what is they eligible to speak.
Yes,
that's one. The other issue is I really get shocked from I see this lady with a case which she brought to my attention, and this case is speak about she went to the hospital for a surgery, Georgetown Hospital, and there is an American doctor who been brought to Cayman, and this doctor do that surgery for the lady. They suppose put a mesh for her in the upper part of over her stomach and that size mesh wasn't available, so the doctor used a bigger size mesh, and that bigger size mesh caused that lady to put her life in danger, and she in pain, and she can't sleep, she can't eat, she can't talk, she can't laugh, she can't do anything, and she gonna be flying off island for a surgery. Okay. And that lady is suing the hospital, suing the Ministry of Health here, and her lawyer asking for a big amount of money.
Yeah.
That has lead me to this question: why we brought here people like doctors or who is not qualified to do such things and put people's life in danger? That question. And this is remind me when they brought Hassan Saeed, the BPM brought Hassan Saeed to Cayman, and he don't have even a good bachelor degree. Recently I hear that his bachelor degree was not it's a false, it's not a degree, it was false. So the man don't have even a bachelor degree, and they bought him ahead of the
university.
University College of the Cayman Islands. You know, it disagrees, you know, how those people, when you hear them.
Yeah.
But the last thing I want to say, I listen to those C4C, and they're fighting against the minimum wage again in Rooster this morning. They don't want to see the poor people have you know, a decent living. You know how those people is protecting the business people, protecting the interests of the business people. They're not just for us. They're not for us. They're just for only one type of people. They are just only for the business, rich people. And I always say to the Caymanian people, it's danger if you elect those C4C candidates. They're going to damage the life of the poor people in this country.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your call as well. And you know, well, one of the things the caller brought up was the lawsuits, and there's more and more lawsuits surfacing now. Not just within, he brought up the one about health services, but certainly within our RCIP, there's a significant amount of those. There are allegations of corruption there. Nothing's being done. Again, we go back to the fact that clearly there's evidence that has been provided to the Commissioner of Police with respect to Ezra's attempt to sell work permits to the Ritz-Carlton. We've identified a section of the law for the RCIP that they can proceed and bring charges in an investigation, and nothing is being done. So the longer that this continues, and this is simply political now. There's no other way to look at this other than it clearly indicates that this is all political. The RCIP gave him my file before they gave it to me and my attorney. So you know there is no other recourse. There is no way anyone can doubt that this is political now and using authority for political outcome. Again, today we saw in the newspaper the pardon of the young man, and again I am happy for that. I hope the young man gets off back to school, gets his degree, comes home and helps rebuild the country, and I'm really happy for that. But we also see the governor doing the pardon. When is the last time you ever heard of a governor doing a pardon in this country? And we see the significant responses from the minister of Mr. Seymour. And I'm saying, hey, if we're in the pardon mood, let's get a whole bunch of young people, let's get some pardons going, and then we can get them some scholarships, and we can begin to build our human capital and turn the country around. So if it's open, I'm not sure if His Excellency the Governor is still in the pardon mood, or if he's closed that door now and we can't have it no more. But we certainly need to make sure that there's fairness in the country, and what's good for one is good for the other, and that other people should be given every opportunity to make representation to get their pardon as well and get off to school and get some scholarships. The young woman who several weeks ago we were talking about that the RCIP arrested and she lost her scholarship, then she was, when she had lost her scholarship, they gave her back her passport and said, oops, we made a mistake. That's a young woman who needs to also have her scholarship back. The RCIP should have to fund that and get her off to college. So those acts as well, I mean, if you're going to pardon, let's be fair across the board. Let's make sure that we can get as many of our young people in college on scholarships. Let's pardon them so that they can get and become productive within society. One of the things that I spoke about last night at my meeting was the affordable homes for Northside that's coming. I do have an investor. I just want to remind the people of Northside that I have an investor ready to come in. At next week's meeting, we're going to start taking your names and begin to take down and qualify you for these homes, so that when we kick off on the 23rd, we're not waiting around. Once you elect me, we're going to ensure that those low-income homes, those affordable homes, are available to you. I'm going to start showing some video and showing you some footage and photos of what these homes look like. I posted some up on my Facebook page. These are beautiful homes that the current incumbent rejected. He said he didn't want another Coella Square in Northside. And it's not just him, folks, of Northside. There are other people who feel that way, that you shouldn't have it, and that poor people shouldn't have anything. So I'm going to see to it that the people get a second chance. And if you look at the ones in East End, the ones in Bordentown, Savannah, and around West Bay and Georgetown, you'll see what the people of Northside missed out on and were denied. And, I kept mentioning that the Constitution makes provisions for the districts of East End and Northside to have annual representation before cabinet to ensure that they have access to the funding. And I double-checked for the section within the Constitution, and I'm going to share that with you. It's actually section attendance of persons at meetings. It's actually section 47 of the Constitution. And what it says is, in fact, that it's on a quarterly basis. So not once a year, as I indicated, but once a quarter. So where an electoral district is not represented in cabinet, the member or members of the Legislative Assembly representing that district shall be entitled to attend a meeting convened by the cabinet once every 3 months for the purpose of A, making representation with respect to matters affecting their district, and B, making budgetary representations with the annual plan and estimates are being developed. So once a year for budget, once a quarter for other matters affecting the district. We have a call on line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you're on there.
Yeah, hello, Judy. How are you this evening?
Very good. Thank you for your call.
Yeah, thank you, too. I listened to what you say about the solar introduction to the island. Very good for poor people, and I hope that it will come to head and not, bring it up and then nothing is done about it. Our own special people will get it. I hope not. I hope it is all catering for the poor people.
Yeah.
And also,
can I just put in on that one?
If you're not elected, would you continue this show? And would you bring in also the investor that you said to do these buildings in Northside? That's very, very good, excellent, and congratulations for that. I hope that whatever happens, you will continue to do what you promised.
Well,
have a good evening.
All right, thank you for your call. Well, let me just say on the solar panel stuff that it's ready now. This is something we can implement within the first 10 days. I mean, literally, we can be elected. We can go to Parliament. We can get sworn in. Everything is available, and the next day, we can pull the trigger on this and start installing these. And who should get? There is enough for everyone to get. And the reason why I structured it that in the event there's a poor person with a weak roof, they can use their yard, is to ensure that everyone had an opportunity to get. And that part of the amount that goes to each house is negotiated by the homeowner and the investor installing them. So once they make it available, then the investor will install them. And there's more than enough. 3 megawatts is huge. I mean, this is more than enough to cover all of the poor people's homes in Cayman, middle class homes in Caymans, and naturally the rich doesn't need it. There are suppliers on here that they can go to and install them. As for the low income housing for Northside, there's no doubt once I lay out the plan to the investor that I certainly hope the investor will move ahead. But let me just say something else to you all folks, because in fact I'm happy to call a call with that and say, if I'm not elected, would I see to it? And today I was approached and asked by someone if I could pay for a vacation for them or buy them a van. It used to be that you heard the C4C voicing the ads about don't sell your vote for a toaster and a refrigerator. Now it seems that we're talking about trips and vans and trucks. So my thing is, folks, that you cannot elect someone who does nothing and the guy who's working his butt off expect him to continue to work for you for free. No more than we should expect you to volunteer for the rest of your life for free for the country while we bring consultants in and pay them an arm and a leg. You will have to accept some responsibility too. So when we talk about, you never came back around and candidates never came back around, folks, let me tell you something. You elect your candidate. Yes, I myself have apologized to the people in Northside for not coming around more, but you elected a man to do the job. He was living there with you. You never saw him. He never did anything. You cannot now hold it against me that nothing occurred. It didn't occur because you elected the wrong guy. If you do it again, he has said repeatedly, He is not changing anything. You're going to get the same thing you got in the last 4 years. So don't start looking at the candidates in the race and saying, hey, if we don't elect you, will you do these things? And then trying to hang that carrot on them, because you need to decide what you want. And what you want is where you will vote, and what you get is what you'll get. We have another caller on the line. Let's go straight to the phone lines. Hello, caller, you're on there.
Hi, Mr. Ebanks. Good afternoon.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your call.
Just because I congratulate you on your show.
Thank you very much.
Giving you credit for such a show.
Thank
you.
you.
I like things to us as a lot has been hidden in the dark from us. I like the topic you touched on about the Hitler situation.
Yes.
I don't know if you could shed me a little light on the situation with the C4C candidates. To my understanding, they are independent candidates. I listen to a lot of things that they are educated people, very knowledgeable people too. They're talking against, more than one occasion I've overheard them on at another station where they're talking about minimum wages. They don't support it. That tells me a lot, that when I look at the list of people and those who support the group that says they are independent, but the word C4C is still elected. It's something there that doesn't spell right to me. I don't know if you can shed us some light on here to take us out the dark. What is happening? I know we have people like Frank McPheel who supposed to be an independent, as he said. I don't see him on the billboard where I see four faces.
That's right.
With above them says independent. But every time you hear a Hadj, you hear C4C. Now, as far as I know, the democracy work within this jurisdiction or these jurisdiction that falls under the Great Britain system.
Correct.
Some of who break off and some of us who still under that kind of umbrella. The question is, why a group has to elect you as a candidate, then put you under that means you're being controlled by the person who elect you then and put you under that umbrella then.
Correct.
Because obviously you're not your own running for the people.
Right.
You're running on behalf of another man who bigger than you.
Yes.
I see it fit that you will follow his instruction.
Right.
Then how you're gonna say you are for the people of the country? I can't support that. So I want you to shed some light on those things for the people of the Cayman Islands, make we understand what is really happening. I mean, for those who maybe can't see clearly what is going on. I have a vague knowledge of what is happening.
Okay.
As I said, they're not giving no listening ears to minimum wages, which clearly show you that's the merchant class.
Yes.
So you're saving more for the merchant class then, and you have more poor. So we are dividing the people them then.
Yes.
We are very rich, very poor.
Yes.
Shed us sunlight. And as I said, congratulations on your show. Keep it going. And I need more Caymanians should call on your show and voice their opinion about things and their growths. Don't hide away from it. We are a nation, and even though we fall underneath the Queen, we are not trying to derail the Queen from this program. The Queen play a vital role to us here. But we got to look at the politicians today that run Great Britain. It's not so much the Queen, it's the politician down the street.
That's right.
And these people are setting up a different schemery around the world because people are getting smarter and smarter every day. And they're putting in place controls in a different way. So I want you to open up those things and talk to the people of the Cayman Islands so they can understand what is going on and stop hide ourselves and dig this kind of suppressed person into a corner like we're afraid of our own voice. Hold more mouth and talk about things. Not just for just a few. All of us, we need to talk on these things. And as I said, for those C4C people, I want you to open up the light, let the Cayman people understand. It's a party. I will accept that these people are a group, a party. No, independent.
True.
I think Frank McPheel may be independent.
Right.
And those out of the four will not fall underneath this kind of umbrella.
Okay.
And thank you for the time.
Okay, thank you very much for your call as well. I'm more than happy to speak to that with respect to the C4C. The C4C is a political party. Political party that was formed, a political party that has control, political party that is controlled by the Scott brothers, and that's the way it is. Now, what they did, they have so much money they could poll people in early out. They poll the country poll came back saying the country was against parties. You all remember that. You were all saying it out loud even. No more political parties. So what they decided to do is begin the political journey with a lie and a trick. So what we're going to do is we're going to have all of you who we have identified as our candidates declare as independents, and this invisible team is going to appear and tap you on the shoulder and say, oh, we like you, we want you to join our team, and then you're going to come in and we're going to have this, and we're going to use the word coalition. And creating this, using this word coalition, we're going to create a group of independents to be a coalition and run for election. This, folks, without a doubt, this is the biggest insult to democracy and the voting public of this country. The rest of the world, if we elect them, would be laughing at us for a decade. The elections office has to be treating their expenses as one expense for the party. Now remember, members of political parties get to spend $30,000 in total on their expense. Members of the independents get to spend $35,000 in electoral expenses. So the elections office has to be under the law, identifying these guys as a party and forcing them to only spend $30,000. So by now they should be running out of some money, or hiding something on somewhere, coming up with some very, creative accounting or something. But they've spent a lot of money, and people are monitoring this, and people know what these things cost. So it'll come out eventually once they don't win. Now, if the people of this country, the good people of this country, choose to elect someone like these groups, and remember, folks, the thing to remember about the gifts and that sort of stuff, and I've heard rumors and stuff that there's some candidates giving away trucks and that sort of stuff, cash. That's okay. You can take that stuff, If you're taking it from rich people, remember they took it from you years ago. Just take it. You don't have to vote for them. Go vote for the other guy. It's not until you actually vote for them that you're breaking the law. That's when you're selling your vote. So take it. It's a gift. Don't vote for them. You have to understand that there is no way you can take and create one platform with multiple candidates and call it independence. You're no longer independent. In fact, listen to them on the radio. They're all singing the same song, and they have a single issue. It is, and when you listen to them, you know why they won't come in here and come on this radio show? Let me tell you why. Because I'm going to interrupt them, ask them a question differently, and then I'm going to spin that again and ask them another question just to see how committed they are to what they're saying. And they're not going to be able to respond. They're going to get confused because they're scripted. That's why they can't come in here. The candidates who have come in here and taken me on, they're not scripted. They actually believe what they're saying. So no matter how I twist it, no matter how I turn it, no matter how I throw the question at them, they can respond, and they're quick. And those that I figure can't do it, I just don't ask any questions, because then it'll come across as something else, as I'm being abusive or something. But the fact is that those that have come here, those that have come on and taken me on, they're clear. They're willing. They believe what they believe. The rest are just scripted, and they're so afraid that they might say the wrong thing. They're not coming on the show. They're afraid. I've invited Dwayne Ebanks from Westwood to come on the show, and 2 times. He said he was coming, and 2 times I had to apologize to you people that he couldn't make it again. I don't know what these guys are afraid of. Come on the show. You want to be elected? Let me ask you people this. If you believe that my questions and my position in here as the host of the show is tough, wait till you get to England and you get elected. Go to England. You need to negotiate on behalf of this country. You know what you're going to do? You're going to crumble. You're going to cry. You're going to give us away. You're going to give everything away, and then you're going to come home and lie about it and say they took it from you. Okay, you need to come here. You need to be man enough to come and face the challenge and face the questions. I went as far as, okay, seeing as I'm the problem, you guys say, and you don't want to come on here, and someone went even as far as to say they're afraid, okay, because, I don't know, whatever, but they're afraid. And not afraid of anything to do with me legally. They're afraid of the questions, because no one is going to tie them to any of my legal issues. They're just afraid. They can come on here. We can talk about the issues that affect their district, the issues that affect the community, and they can respond. And we have callers who can call in. They can get their committees and their supporters lined up with a number that if I get her the hand, and then the way they can call in and support them. So all of that can happen. So even with all of that, I had to go and find 2 very nice ladies who were impartial and who were willing to come on. And I said, okay, let's see if you guys can get some candidates to come onto the show, because one of the reasons why I got the show was to ensure that independents could afford and were given an opportunity to say where they stood on the issues. It's just that they seem to be so far independent that they're the other extreme of the C4C. C4C is a part of pretending to be independents, and the independents in this country are so far independent, they're independent of thought and our issue. Even Dr. Frank McField called up before. I've invited him I don't know how many times. He's not coming on here. I don't know why. He won't accept the invitation. Matthew Les is coming on tomorrow. He wants to come back. He wants to come every day. Say what you want to say. The guy believes what he believes, and tomorrow we're going to have a debate on here. We're going to get at it, and we're going to talk about stuff, and callers can call up, and you can ask us the tough questions. And I've said that over and over. Just don't call. Ask a tough question and hang up, because that's not a question. That's a shot at someone. Stay on the line. Take the response. Let's talk about it, because not everything you hear is factual, you know. And you need to start giving the people an opportunity, the candidates an opportunity to respond to things that have been said about them. Because, let me tell you, here's one of the things that have been said about me recently. And someone came to me with this, that I am and he asked me, he said, you know, Joey, I've known you for a long time. I've supported you. I still support you, but I was shocked to find out you're a member of the lodge. I'm not a member of any lodge. I was asked by Albert Anderson and Eddington Powell, Ezra's Bean Counter, to join, and I refused. I'm not a member of the lodge. What they're doing now is, you get these liars out there, you know, the same two liars that have prevented this country from ever, for the last 4 years, having a project that could give people jobs. Those same two, they're going to run around now and they're going to lie about everything. And whatever you think that you want to hear is what they're going to tell you. And they're going to have their little protected systems where they can't be questioned and they can't be challenged. And then they're going to just keep repeating things over and over. And they're going to send their people out with special messages so that they can say, oh, you know, Joey's a member of the lodge. I'm not a member of the lodge. I'm not at all. I've never been inside their temple or wherever it's called. I'm not. And I have no issue with that. I don't want to be. Okay, we have a call on the line. Let's go straight to the phone line. Hello, caller, you're on there.
Good afternoon, Mr. Joey.
Good afternoon, sir. Thank you for your call.
This is a young supporter from Northside.
Okay, thank you. How you doing, buddy?
I want to like what you're saying, man. You're doing good. Keep it up, man.
All right, thank you very much. Yeah. Remember, the Joey Ebanks platform in Northside is your platform. If so, the young people came on, of Northside. Young people of Northside, so that we can start building your future. We can move the Northside people forward. So thank you very much for that call. And I hope to hear from more and more of you to call in. And, you know, just speak your voice. We saw the plan last night. And now we need to start aggressively identifying the persons who qualify for the affordable homes, identify the persons who are unemployed, and then we need to get to work to get our people going. So that's what we need to do. We have another phone line. Caller on the line. Hi, caller, you're on there.
Joy.
Hi, good afternoon. Thank you for your call.
How are you?
I'm very good. Thank you.
Alrighty. Just want to call, right, and wonder if you can do anything about this. The DOE, Department of the Environment, like the Marine Unit Park. For instance, I'll give you a little idea on this, you know. Like, I know a DOE officer in particular, right? He harasses people if you go and get 1-2 little conchs to go fishing. And then now I'm hearing that he's the same one that buying the conchs and the lobster when the seasons are closed.
Okay.
I mean, is there anything you can do about that if you're elected?
Oh yeah, we can. That's if he's doing that out of season and doing it and the way that you're inferring here, then that's illegal. But don't hang up, because you're bringing this up takes me to the spear guns, and I want to see this law changed, but I want to see it done the correct way. I want to look at the possibility of us changing this law once elected, that it allows Caymanians to own not just spear guns, but their right to get parts, to be able to have spear guns. And here's what I want to run in Northside as a program, is I want to be able to legally have the Northside young people go out and shoot the lionfish. And once you're dealing with the lionfish and capturing the lionfish with spear guns or with fishing lines, that there's a fee of $5, a reward fee of $5 per head for each one. Decades ago, when I was a little boy, they used to have this for rabbits. Rabbits were eating all the farmers' produce, so I think it was like 10 pounds or 10 something shillings or something per head for every rabbit they killed. So they got the border to eat, and they produced the head, and the government paid them $10 or $20 something, and it helped to bring down the population to a manageable level. We have another one here. Is the lionfish, and we need to address that. What do you think about that?
I think that's a wonderful idea. To
Okay.
be honest with you, it's a good idea. Because me myself, I mean, that's our life. I'm a north sider.
Okay.
And you know, I mean, I love diving, fishing, and that I mean, we have the seas.
Yeah.
That's where it stays, so you know,
Yeah.
why not?
And then, you know, we could take the body of the lionfish and still provide it to the restaurants so that they can prepare and sell, so we could sell it there. Government can give $5 a head for every lionfish you shoot and kill. But we need to make sure that you're legal. We need to make sure we restructure the spear gun license law so that Caymanians can have access to it, so that Caymanians can use it. And I have no qualms with structuring this the same way we structure the elections law that allows candidates to be qualified, which means that you must be the child of your grandmother, you must be a Caymanian. So we can structure it that way so that it's affecting Caymanians, and we have some control there, because this is your environment. You know, this is your environment, and open up this spear gun thing. Let's put it behind us. We have people here with spear guns that can't get parts, and then we're forcing them to commit offenses in order to get parts so that you can get licenses. Small stores and gas stations can carry the parts that you can buy, and we can get you all armed to tackle a lionfish problem. Get you out there, make sure that you're safe, and make sure that you're dealing with the lionfish and helping to eliminate it. Right now, the entire action against lionfish seems to be concentrated into the hands of the foreigners, and I don't mean just foreigners, but the white foreigners, where they're allowed to go out, they're allowed to, it's some part of cuisine. Why don't we include the Caymanian people? This is the Caymanian people environment. Let's get you guys with your spear guns. Let's open this law up, make some changes to it, so that we're not causing massive damage and massive spear gun applications and licenses, and get you out there to help us fight this against this predator, the lionfish, that's destroying our marine life.
Yeah. And the next thing, I mean, I've applied many times for my spear gun license. I mean, I've been doing this for years. Sometime a little boy, my grandfather gave me my first spear gun, and they're declining the license. I don't have a police record. I mean, I work in an office.
Yeah.
And I mean, I'm not going out there to tear the marine life
That's
apart
right.
and sell. I'm just going there for a snap for my family, and I'm okay. You know?
Well, I'll tell you, you know, I think I was 9, 10, maybe 11 when I had my first spear gun. So growing up north side, I had a spear gun. I had parts, and I was just a boy, the age of my youngest son now. And you know, this is something that, you know, initially worked because we wanted to preserve some of the marine life, but we have a predator there now. And you know, I've never seen Caymanians go out and shoot little fish, infant fish. They go outside the reef and they go for bigger fish and to feed their family, you know, and to make a living.
Yeah.
But we need to talk about that some more. We need to finalize that, and that's one of the things that we want to move immediately once elected. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
I like the radio show, man.
All right. Thank you, and thank you for your call as well. So that's one of the things I wanted to talk about this evening, ladies and gentlemen. Is that spear gun law. More and more Caymanian men, young men, are coming up to me and asking about it, and I gave it some thought. I put some thought into it the last couple of nights, and one of the fears, of course, is that if you open it up, everyone can get a license and everyone can go and we suddenly deplete the marine life. I don't think we have to do that. I think we've set precedents with how we get elected in this country. We're saying to qualify as a Caymanian, your grandmother must be Caymanian. So we do the same thing with spear gun license. To get a license, you have to prove that your grandmother was a Caymanian. We make sure parts are available to them. We make sure the stores are carrying them. We make sure the stores ask and identify the license, take the recording number down to the parts they sell, and it's control. And I'm making a lot of fool you that this can't be done, because it can. It's done in many parts of the world with other issues. And the fear cannot be of the young people, because if that's the problem and that's why we're restricting the licenses of spear guns, then my God, no wonder our young people don't trust us, because we're creating laws where they're not a problem, just in case they become a problem. So, in leaving you today, I've gone past a little bit, but in leaving you, just let me say this to you, the listening audience. We have exposed our young people to the American television and Bill of Rights. The American rights system. It's exposing them. We're bombarded with it and how much rights the American people have. We have a Bill of Rights now, and we're saying it, we have a Bill of Rights. And yet, we're not doing what is necessary and changing the laws like the police law to ensure that our young people and our citizens are afforded their rights. The Bill of Rights calls for a Miranda, even, that requires that the person being arrested has the right to remain silent. The police, when they arrest you today, they're telling you if you remain silent, they're going to use it against you in a court. That's illegal from the day Governor Duncan Taylor implemented and signed off on these Bill of Rights. So that all of that work has to be done, you know. There's no training occurring. We're having conflict with our young people in the police because one is thinking he has rights. The other one is saying, I don't know anything about that. No one told me that. No one told me this Bill of Rights affected these other laws that they train me under. We need to train the RCIP. We need to change the laws. We need to get them to recognize, the guys on the street to recognize there's now a new constitution. There's a Bill of Rights, and there's certain laws that don't work anymore, and they have to be adjusted. We get that right, and crime will drop. You know why it'll drop? Because people will understand where they stand and how far they can go. You've been listening to the Joe Ebanks radio show. I'm going to leave here now. I'm going to get out because it's 6:15. And I want to thank you once again for joining me. Don't forget, I'm going to be back here tomorrow. I'm going to have Matthew Leslie on the air. Give us a call. Thank you for listening to the Joe Ebanks show. We'll see you tomorrow. I don't want to be the premier. That's not my business. I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Caymanian, Jamaican, English, American, Filipino, black men, white men, yellow men, all men. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that. We want to live by each other's happiness, not by each other's misery. We don't want to hate and despise one another. In this country, there is room for all of us, and the economy is strong enough to provide for all of us. Our way of life can be free and beautiful, but we have lost our way. Greed has poisoned men's souls, has barricaded this country with hate, has sucked us into the misery and heartache. We have developed speed, but we have shut ourselves in. A financial industry that gives abundance has left us in want. Our knowledge has made us cynical, our cleverness hard and unkind. We think too much and feel too little. More than a financial industry, we need humanity. More than cleverness, we need kindness and gentleness. Without these qualities, life will become more violent, harder, and all will be lost. The web, radio, and the social media has brought us closer together. The very nature of these inventions cries out for the goodness in man, cries out for universal brotherhood, for the unity of us all. Through Facebook, my words can reach millions throughout the world. Millions of despairing men, women, and little children, victims of a system that makes men torture and imprison innocent people. To those who can hear me, I say, do not despair. The misery that is now upon us is but the passing of greed, the bitterness of men who fear the way of human progress. The hate of men will pass, and dictators will die, and the power they took from the people will return to the people. And so long as men die, liberty will never perish. RCIP, don't give yourself to brutes, men who despise you and enslave you, who regiment your lives, tell you what to do, what to think, and what to feel, who drill you, diet you, treat you like cattle, use you as fodder. Don't give yourself to these unnatural men, machine men, with machine minds and machine hearts. You are not machines. You are not cattle. You are men and women. You have a love of humanity in your hearts. You don't hate. Only the unloved hate. The unloved and the unnatural. Political candidates, don't fight for slavery. Fight for liberty. Fight to liberate the Caymanian people from economic despair. In the 17th chapter of St. Luke, it's written, the kingdom of God is within man. Not one man, nor a group of men, but in all men. Not Taylor, in you. You, the people, have the power. The power to create machines, the power to create happiness. You, the people, have the power to make this life free and beautiful, to make this life a wonderful adventure. So in the name of democracy, let's use that power. Let us all unite. Let us fight for a new Cayman, a decent Cayman, that will give people a chance to work, that will give youth a future and old age a security. By the promise of these things, brutes have risen to power, but they lie. They do not fulfill their promise. They never will. Dictators free themselves, but they enslave the people. Now let us fight to fulfill that promise. Let us fight to free this country, to do away with economic barriers, to do away with greed, with hate and intolerance. Let us fight for a country of reason, a world where science and progress will lead to all men's happiness. Caymanians, in the name of democracy, let us all unite.